Okay, so my name is Paul Ho. I'm a Systems Engineering Director at Graphiant. And today I'm going to talk about cloud connectivity from Graphiant. So if you were at the last ONUG, we talked about Graphiant's connectivity to AWS and Azure. And today we're going to extend the topic to connectivity to OCI as well. Okay, and the reason we're talking about this is because enterprises are constantly moving their cloud workloads to cloud, or their workloads to cloud. But a lot of enterprises are keeping a lot of workloads on-prem as well. So enterprise networkers or enterprise architects have to architect a network that is hybrid cloud, that has to include cloud, but also include data centers, include their on-prem locations. So very important to treat the cloud like you treat the data center, right? So it makes sense. So OCI, very important. And jumbo frames, very important. Why is jumbo frame important? Jumbo frame is important in that in OCI, the database is stored in blocks, database blocks. Database blocks are stored in AK, if you know, so that's a default setting for OCI. So OCI highly recommends any enterprises that use their database, because they're the premier database management company. Pretty much all of the large enterprises we deal with use OCI. And imagine connecting to OCI using 1500 byte frames. What does that mean? That means you have to chop up your 8K byte frames into 6 frames. And then your hosts, your database hosts, have to reassemble those frames. Okay, so it's very inefficient to use this to traverse over internet or traverse a network that only supports 1500 byte frames. You want to use 8K frames, and the 8K bytes of the database block fits right inside the 8K frames. Okay, so OCI supports it up to 9,000 bytes. AWS also supports this up to 8,500 bytes. 8,500 is good enough because 8192, that's the magic number, right? So this is one way to treat your cloud as a data center. So you want to have that high throughput private connectivity to OCI. Okay, it's a real demo. Okay, so demo. So you can see the Graphiant core in the middle. If you don't know what Graphiant does, Graphiant builds out our core locations in data centers around the world. And we allow the connectivity to the closest cloud or closest on-prem location connects to Graphiant over leased line, last mile, or internet last mile. So you can use both. Obviously, if you want to use jumbo frames, you need a leased line connection to the last mile. But as you connect, so you can see in the lab, we have on-prem data center, we have a branch, we have AWS connection, and this is a direct connect connection, right? And this is offered as a service to a customer. A direct connect connection, we have the OCI connection using Fast Connect. So Oracle Fast Connect or OCI Fast Connect is connected to us in region, and that's also offered as a service to our customers. In AWS, we have routing components. Okay, the routing component in AWS is TGW. The transit gateway does BGP integration with our gateway. And in OCI, there's a DRG, our dynamic routing gateway in OCI, and that's off of the Fast Connect. And that also does BGP directly with our gateway. So that's the architecture. And then you can see on-prem, we have a data center edge that's also using BGP. So everything's BGP integrated, very high speed. So this is how we can support jumbo frames from any to any location. From a Graphiant services perspective, you can order the gateway service right on the Graphiant portal. In order to order the service, so let's say you want AWS service in US West, you go onto our portal and you can order the service and you have this connection within a day, you have this connection, right? And you want Azure in US East, you go onto the Graphiant portal, you have Azure connection using ExpressRoute into the Graphiant gateway, okay? And you can have that on the same day. So imagine now you have a multi-cloud, privately connected network over Graphiant's fiber optic network that's present in multiple regions. That's kind of interconnecting all of your sites together using BGP integration, right? So it's all BGP integrated. Very, very simple for enterprise architects to kind of implement cloud connectivity. All right. So for AWS, let's go to AWS. So this part of the demo is going to AWS, and actually I'll play this.
Okay, let's take a look at the AWS.
So the Direct Connect. So when you order the gateway service, it appears in your Direct Connect connections. So when you go into AWS, you actually go to Direct Connect connections, you accept the connection, and now that becomes part of your Direct Connect connection right inside the AWS. That's integrated with a transit gateway. So it's a virtual interface. If you're dealing with AWS, it's a transit VIF in AWS. Okay, the transit VIF is connected to a TGW, a transit gateway, and that's the BGP. So you have the BGP AS number from Graphiant. We have a public AS number. We peer with our providers. And if you look at that, we're going to the transit gateway route table. And now we can see in the routes, all of the routes from the Graphiant network. So all of your on-prem networks, your data center networks, your branch networks, your networks from OCI will show up in AWS, right? Super, super simple. Network engineers, architects only have to remember how to do BGP, basically, right? That's all you have to do. You don't have to order your Direct Connect. You get it from the Graphiant gateway. You don't have to do Express Route. You don't have to do Fast Connect. You don't have to remember all of these kind of cloud terminologies because this is already integrated as part of the service. All right. So you see the routes there.
Okay.
Let's go to OCI, right? OCI, very similar, right?
Okay,
again,
let's go to Oracle.
Same idea. So when you have the transit gateway in AWS, you have the DRG in OCI. The DRG is the dynamic routing gateway. The dynamic routing gateway speaks BGP. Again, you go to the dynamic routing gateway, you find the gateway, you find the route table, and the route table will show you all of the routes from on-prem, from AWS, from data center, from your locations, right? So all of it is already there.
Okay, next.
Okay, and then finally you go to the Graphiant portal, and the Graphiant portal will show you all of the routes from AWS, from OCI. So you get the idea. So that's the idea, right? So all of it is BGP integrated. You can find all your routes, and then everything just communicates very, very simply. Okay, so
AWS gateway, it's number 19.
That's showing you the AWS gateway. That is the branch router. Then you have the DC router. Then you have the OCI gateway. Very simple. You find your device, you go in there, and you can find the routes right there.
There's an OCI gateway. So all of
and I'm getting the 1 minute thing. And somehow when I start talking, time goes faster. Okay. So
now we've seen the routes.
Hope I get to the jumbo frames.
AWS and in OCI.
Well, that's just showing. Let's skip ahead.
OCI. Okay.
So I'm in OCI host. Sorry, this is the AWS host. And pinging the OCI host from here. Okay, that was on the diagram. 10.101.0.11, and I'm doing a packet size of 8192. And I'm doing don't fragment. This is telling the ping not to fragment. And we can see that very fast connection. It's in the same region. So you have a 3 millisecond latency between AWS and OCI. So it's a data center connection, basically.
Let's go to the other hosts.
Okay, fast forward to OCI host. So that's just looking at the host IP address, 10.101. And then that's an on-prem host right there, right? The 10.21 is from the data center. It's 1 gig connected. And again, we can do the jumbo frame pings. All right, I got 1 minute to wrap up. Let me look ahead. And here we're doing iPerf. Okay, so we're doing iPerf over a gig connection from on-prem to Graphiant. and then from OCI to Graphian, and we're getting about 940, 950 megabits per second over this gig connection. All right, this is doing jumbo frames.
This is 944 megabits per second, single stream.
All right.
Over a 1 gig
So that's the idea. We're gonna also do that with.
and lower.
We're gonna do it with 1400 byte packets, right? So this is chopping things up. This is not even going to the database, but you can see we're 100 megabits less. Okay, doing regular 1400 byte frames. This is over a very short distance, not taking into consideration a lot of round trip delays with TCP. Over longer distances, these numbers will increase, right? So the differences will increase. All right, we are going to wrap up with the last slide. So the Graphian, what is the Graphian service? Graphian service is private, not over the internet. Okay, it's reliable, high performance. You don't have to spin up your own VNFs in a cloud. We're not doing over like an SD-WAN kind of connection. You don't have to manage the cross connects. Nothing for you to do. We are already cross connected with the cloud providers. You don't have to run a circuit from your on-prem location to the cloud, to like an Equinix. We already have that. It's already covered by the Graphian core. All you have to do is connect to the Graphian core, and then you have this service with jumbo frame support. Okay. All right. That's it. Thank you.